Welcome to our fourth episode of Cosmos. Today, we're talking about Mars, the interesting red planet in our neighborhood backyard. Mars is the fourth planet from our star, the Sun, orbiting at a distance of 225 million kilometers away from it. That's about 1.5 times the distance between Earth and the Sun. Mars is a little over half of Earth's diameter, being 6,779 kilometers wide. It is called the red planet due to its composition of iron oxide on its surface, which gives it a reddish color. This is why its color is strikingly similar to rusted iron. Mars is named after the Roman god of war, as it is seen as a red star in our sky. Mars, like all rocky planets, has a crust, mantle, and core. Its crust has mostly iron, magnesium, calcium, and potassium. It has significant amounts of volcanic rock and minerals like olivine, pyroxene, and basalt, which are higher than iron than here on Earth. Also, there are sedimentary rock, hinting at liquid water in the region. There is plenty of ice and water at the poles. This video specifically shows how the ice changes at the poles, which I'll talk about later. Below that is the mantle, and it's extremely thick at 1,500 kilometers thick. The mantle has different layers of different types of molten carbonic rock. Its core is made of nickel, iron, and traces of sulfur. Mars's magnetic field is a weak remnant of a once present magnetic field. Those remnants behind Mars are then twisted into a tail. Although its core is spinning, it is not detached and is too small to generate a strong magnetic field. Above that, the atmosphere, which releases ions into space. The Mars atmosphere itself is thin and about 1% of Earth's density. Its composition is mostly 95% CO2, the rest is 2% argon and another 2% nitrogen. There is less than 1% of other elements like oxygen and carbon monoxide. One misconception, mostly generated by a lack of understanding and based on the plans to land on Mars soon by space agencies, is that it's habitable and we will colonize it soon. Actually, it is not very hospitable either. Its stones have sharp dust that could irritate the lungs, have only frozen water, that too only at the poles, and 40 to 50 times the solar radiation than on Earth, which makes it extremely dangerous. We won't be colonizing this planet anytime soon. On to more about Mars' weather. It is cold with an average temperature of minus 60 degrees Celsius, but it varies from minus 120 degrees Celsius at the pole to minus 20 degrees Celsius at the equator. Mars also has seasons similar to Earth, a similar day length of 24 hours and a similar axial tilt of 25 degrees. Its dust storms are interesting but dangerous, spanning local areas or the entire planet and containing particles that could damage your lungs or your eyes. Mars has both frozen water and frozen CO2 clouds. They are closer to our mesospheric clouds. However, Mars is more like a desert with little to no rain. Mars' terrain might interest you more. Mars has the tallest mountains and volcanoes in the whole solar system, including Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in the solar system covered with snow and that is still active. These tall mountains were formed because of early activity in the early solar system. There are also features like raised mensa like Cydonia, which has a striking resemblance to humanoid faces. It also has valleys, with the most famous one, Valles Marineris, at 4,000 kilometers long, possibly left behind by a past ocean. It has sand dunes, ripples, and rocks like deserts on Earth, but a bit colder. Mars' year is 687 Earth days, that is just a little under twice our year. It orbits next to the asteroid belt. It has the most elliptical of all planets' orbits, with an eccentricity of 0.0934. I said that Mars has no life, but it could have had life ocean, and an atmosphere in the past. It would have been cooler with water pools, rivers, and a thicker atmosphere, and it might have even had life. However, the sun's radiation stripped away most of its atmosphere due to it having no magnetic field. All the water evaporated away after that. The Earth has one moon, Mars has two moons, but unlike our moon, which is big and round, Mars' moons are small and irregular. Phobos is a large one, and Deimos is small. It is thought that they are captured moons from the asteroid belt. One thing is that Phobos is moving slowly towards Mars, and Deimos is moving away from Mars. Soon, one day, Deimos might escape Mars, and Phobos would eventually be so close to it that it would form rings around it. There have been several missions and rovers sent to study Mars. This includes Mariner 4, 5, and 9 by NASA, which collected data on Mars' atmosphere, topography, and detected ozone in the atmosphere, and collected data on the planet's poles. Then the USSR sent their own missions, the Mars missions, to Mars for a flyby. Then, Prop was sent by the USSR, which were two rovers. Viking was then sent by NASA and landed detecting chemicals in the atmosphere and soil, as well as taking the first photos of the surface in 1980. The famous rovers Sojourner, Spirit, Curiosity, Opportunity, and Perseverance by NASA took hundreds of photos of Mars over more than a decade so far. And finally, the Mangalyaan mission by ISRO, which also took photos of Mars, but instead of editing in its true color. We've so far never set foot on another planet. We plan to settle a few people on Mars soon, especially SpaceX. We also plan to keep the settlement permanent. This will take a long time and effort for this to happen. It will need money, time, and resources, and many years to prepare a habitat for humans to step into when they land. NASA, however, plans that the first person on Mars will be a woman. If that happens, it will be a huge achievement. First, we should select a place for settlement. Second, we should send rockets to set up a platform on Mars part by part. After attaching, we should send the first settlement with only a few people before we start to scale up. Overall, Mars is a very interesting planet, and our research continues to this day. We have high hopes on sending humans here, and hopefully it will happen very soon.